All right, so good morning. Welcome to today for Tuesday in geometry. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and the bell. So, warm up to make sure that we're understanding what's happening. Okay? How could you let someone know exactly where you are? You, Lydia Green. Huh? Coordinates? Okay. By the way, wait till I am done before you start erasing what you have. Now, coordinates. So, do you tell your friends I'm at 65 west, 130 degrees north, like Magellan? Okay. But coordinates is, yes, okay. You do have that. Another way of coordinates is if you go to like a large event where you have an assigned seat, like I'm in, row F, seat 7, something like that. So that's actually a coordinate also. What's something else?
Directions.
Okay, directions how?
Step by step.
Step by step. Okay, if you're telling somebody directions step by step, you're telling them how to get to your location. Okay, like sharing my location. I know some of y'all on the Snappy Chat, you go and you look for little icons of your little, your little friendlies and frenemies and all that in between to see if you want to go there or avoid that spot. Okay, coordinates or location. All right, number 2. All right, so name a TV show or shows that seem to never end. Yes, Paisley. That is the number one that I would say. Somebody said Stranger Things. I'm like, I said that series ended. That's. Oh my gosh. Anyways, all right. What's something else? Seems like it never ends. SpongeBob. SpongeBob, yeah, because they keep on making. Now, granted, it's different things, but it's still SpongeBob. Okay, SpongeBob came out in the early 2000s. Okay, yes. Oh boy. All right, I'm gonna put Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Okay.
Not the fun house, the clubhouse.
That's a special masker tool we'll need for later. Now, so Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. All right, does anybody know a show that's been on longer than any of these? The Simpsons. The Simpsons have been on. All right, so they've been on since the 1900s. Okay, they came out when I was in 5th grade. Not quite 80 years ago, close. Okay, it's been 35 years ago. All right, so, 35 years, that's a pretty good long run. All right, so hopefully nobody missed number 3. All right, now, that's just the arrow. You can have it where, I want to design. I have the new, Easton blah 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 blood strainer whatever thing for my new Barrett boat. I don't know. We're not doing. If you didn't understand what I said, don't worry about it. So, what the what?
You get one too.
Hooray! I'm special. Everybody say bye to Officer Justice. Bye. All right, he'll see some of y'all later. Hopefully not, because it's always more paperwork. Okay, so can something have more than one name? Yes. Okay, and then like nicknames. shorter names. Unfortunately, there's probably a lot of like kindergartners starting school this week, not necessarily on this campus, but other campuses, and the teacher is calling their name, and they're like, I'm called Stinkabutt. Okay, no, that's not, their name. Okay, so, you have nicknames. There's other ways to say the same thing. How we got how Bill is actually short for William. I've yet to understand that one. But there's some people that have different nicknames. There's my daddy calls me Pumpkin. So you have that. That was an intern on the Rick and Bubba show years ago. Okay, and then. Sometimes there's like good nicknames, like cool nicknames, like, Ace, Nitro, stuff like that. And then you have weird nicknames like, Booter, Joe Dirt. Okay. All right. So every story has a all right, so it's okay. Look, in their mind, it makes sense. Okay, not everybody's wired the same. Some of y'all are wireless, which is sad. Anyways, so believe it or not, everything that we're talking about now relates to something that we're going to do in class today. Okay, that's the kind of way things go. A lot of people, first couple of times I'm giving you definitions and stuff, you're like, how does this relate? It actually does. Okay? Because I don't like your typical math definitions, because this is what happens in your actual brain. Okay? When you hear something, it actually tries to connect, and you got this cognitive loading thing that's happening where you're trying to put pieces together of something that you already know about. Okay, and then you make your own definition from there. So that's why mine are a little bit different. All right, so now, escribe por favor en sus papeles ahora. Write this down on your paper, please. Write this down on your paper, please. Escribes por favor sus papeles ahora. Okay, so a point is a position on a plane or space that has no dimension. Now, when I'm saying a plane, I'm not talking, like a C-130 or something like that, or, your World War I biplanes and stuff. I'm talking like a flat rectangular surface. Okay, if you ever had this definition before, somebody says, the wall is a plane, the ceiling is a plane. Okay, it's just an area. Okay, and to me, a lot of that doesn't make a lot of sense, because apparently a plane can extend forever, but then they're showing us something that actually stops. So now, it's basically a location. Our coordinates, or where we're at, sharing your location. That's what a point is. You're right there. Okay? All right. It's read like this. Here we have A, B, C. Now, you could actually write this a different way. You could say this is point A, or point B, or point C. Now, that is a P and a little t. That's not a plus sign. Okay? Had a lot of people that say P plus A, and I'm like, that's not what's going on. Okay? Because that's something totally different. Okay? That's another math lesson for another day. Now, a line. Okay? There's a theorem. Okay? Theorem or postulate. There's a rule that says between any 2 points, there's one line. Okay? So, a line is a set of points. Y'all have probably drawn these in... Did y'all draw them on paper, or did y'all have to draw them online before, when y'all had to do lines? Paper? Okay, good. All right, now, only reason I say that is sometimes when you try to draw lines online, if it's not in this particular order, it does not go well. Okay, so now, you name it by 2 points, and the direction that it's read. So if this is AB, so we're reading this way, that's where we get this answer. Okay? This is read as BA, and that's that answer. Now, it extends forever, forever, forever. Okay? Just keeps on going. Now, if a lot of this stuff in math doesn't make sense, or like, how are these people coming up with it? Okay, please understand, the number one medication at this time for everything, headaches, toothaches, tummy aches, broken leg, got impaled by a bull, was opium. Okay? Opium is what makes morphine, heroin, and all that other kind of stuff. And that's what they were taking. So these people literally were doing drugs and making math. Okay? So, that's why some of it doesn't make sense. Now, a line uses a double arrow. This should be on the back. That should not be Ray. This should be something else. A line segment. That's why it didn't work in first period. All right. Line segment is part of a line with 2 points. It has a beginning and an end. Okay? And it's named by... Now, notice how we're talking about stuff, how it's being named. Okay? That might be important later on today. FYI, BT dubs, hashtag TBH. Now, here's this line segment. Again, it's how it's read. Okay? If we go from here to here, it's line segment AB. If we read it from here to here, it's line segment BA. A lot of stuff is actually named by your perspective. We're going to go over stuff about perspective way later on in the year. Okay, this is only day 2. Some people are already lost. But, later on, it's a lot of things are perspective. Okay, or y'all say POV, your point of view. Okay, my favorite thing was a point of view, something that happened. I saw it on TikTok, dealing with the creamery. This, little female says, "Hey, can you open this?" And it's like shown from down, and the guy, it's just like a little bitty ramekin. Yeah, y'all know. Okay, never mind. Y'all probably have to see it to understand it. All right, array. Array is a portion of a line that extends in one point in one direction. This is where we get the Simpsons, the Grey's Anatomy, and stuff like that. This started at one point, and it seems to go on forever. Okay, and I don't even know if the main character that's named for Grey's Anatomy is even on Grey's Anatomy. So I don't even know her name anymore, because every time I would watch it way back in the day, I'm like, oh, I like that character, and then like 2 weeks later they're killed off. I'm like, oh, sunny beaches. So now the endpoint of array is written first. Now, please understand, this doesn't matter how the ray is pointed. Okay? This does not matter how the ray is pointed. It's where the dot is, and it's read to where the arrow is. Okay? Now, this ray is named AB, not BA. This rays do not, flip-flop. Okay. Okay, drags the bad. Okay. Okay. All right. So you have these problems to do on your own. Okay, I'm going to pause the recording. I'm actually going to be walking around to see how things go. Please do not ask me to check your answers to see if they're right. And I will not do that. You need to ask, am I on the right path? Okay. Like I said earlier, when y'all said like directions and stuff, I said, okay, you're getting close, but you're not there. All right. I don't pre-grade stuff. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pause right quick, and then we're going to do this, and we're going to go over it. And we're back after a short delay. So, it says name each point. Now, yes, if you said this was a ray, I told you that you were on the right idea. It's just not the actual answer. Okay? That is actually how you would answer number 1. Okay? Like I said, it is array, but that's how you would name it. All right, for number 2. This is a what? Line segment. Now, there are actually 2 ways to name this. All right. Now, like I said, if you just wrote what it was, you technically weren't all the way wrong. Your thought process was good. We just need to expand on it, okay? All right, so you could have wrote it like this, or you could have said point S or point T, okay? Either way. All right, if you were like me when I took geometry back in the 1900s, you probably would have wrote dot. Did anybody write dot? Okay, yeah. I mean, my Miss Benauer did not like it. She kind of got on to me for 2 days, and I quit saying dot. I'm like, Miss Benauer, the answer is dot A. She's like, that's not what you say. Womp womp. So, all right, number 4. What is number 4? Line. Okay, and we can read it 2 ways. All right, so, and yes, I would actually make those sound effects if y'all weren't here. I get bored as much as y'all do. Okay, I promise. All right, 5 is also a line. Yeah, for a lot of people, math isn't fun. Like, you can make it fun. Like, yeah, I'm writing down letters, I'm doing these crazy symbols, but you can do, you could have went womp womp, any type of little, ha ha, any type of little sound to, lighten the mood. Okay. All right, number 6. Number 6 was one that we had that a lot of people, there were some disagreements. There wasn't any bloodshed this time, but some people were like, no, I'm right. Rah! And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry that, I hate that, my 2 degrees from college did not prepare me to know as much as you do at 14 years old. They didn't like that one either. That was pretty funny. So, this is a ray. Okay? And it's read as LM because L is where you start. M is further down the line. It cannot be written as ML. And then a lot of people are like, but you wrote it wrong because the arrow. No, it doesn't matter. The arrow could be going up and you would still write it where the starting point is. Okay? And it's okay to mess up because you're learning. Okay? Unless everybody went to math camp this summer. Did anybody go to math camp? I've been asking that question for 22 years. Nobody's ever said yes. Okay, so don't worry about it. You did when you were little? Well, was that this summer?
No, summer this summer.
All right, number 7. Number 7. What is number 7? No, what is it first? Not its name, but what is it? Line segment. So yes, this is JK. Just kidding. Or killer jelly. Now, so I don't know. All right. And then point R. Now, it doesn't have to be in the same order as mine because they're all different points. As long as you got them, that's perfect. BT. Oh. All right. Number 9. What is number 9? Yeah, those are the letters. But what is it on? It's a ray. Okay, so it is HI. My ray gun. All right, so now normally we would have a practice day tomorrow. Again, I'm going to see how the rest of the day goes. If a lot of people are really like lost in the sauce with this stuff, we will look at something different. Okay, if there's not anything from this that pertains to like more practice, we will again. Oh, that's. I don't have the whole month of August planned. Okay, I don't even have tomorrow planned. Okay, because I don't know how today's going to go. So if you don't understand how we did stuff today, then how are you going to understand stuff tomorrow? You ain't going to happen. All right. Don't forget, hit like, subscribe to the bell. Good stuff, good things. Roll Tide.